a moment with Dale, one of my dearest friends, and I wanted to capture this Dub, and I'm so glad you came by to spend a little time with me. He was probably a little bit reluctant, wondering what I was going to ask you, but you've had a long career as a great horseman, and I'm just curious to share that with everyone, how it all began for you.
I got tired picking cotton and started riding horses.
Right.
That's how it began.
So what year was that?
I'm going from memory, but probably in Missouri, working on the farm. I got to riding horses about 1946.
How'd you get to Fort Worth?
Oh my, that's a boxcar, I think.
A boxcar?
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about transportation. Come on, Dad. It could have been a horseback. Your family moved here. What brought you to Fort Worth?
Don Carr.
Oh, okay.
Don Carr. We were showing and judging somewhere in Iowa, between, Nebraska and here, and got acquainted with Don Carr.
I'll be darned.
And Don just totally insisted that if I wanted to be in the horse business and do what I was doing, I needed to come forward. And I finally packed up a bag and came.
It's still kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
It's still kind of that way today. Fort Worth is huge because of Will Rogers, obviously, the Fort Worth Stock Show. If you remember, when I was young, they used to call it Fort Worth Fat Stock Show.
Exactly.
And that meant, you brought
fat cows and
all your cattle and your
they
goats.
They got away with the fat pretty much.
Well, because you're going to offend somebody when you say the word fat. I'm serious.
The horses probably, I don't know this, but they probably kind of overshadowed the cattle deal as time went by.
Oh, yeah.
Used to, it was just the show cows and all there, and then the horses started, and it kind of mushroomed.
Right, and so their big claim to fame, or the way they build this now, it's legendary. But it's like, what, 123 years old. It's getting ready to start this week. I think Friday or Saturday they've got the parade, and I met Dub. I was like to say very young back in the day, and I had just become a buyer for Ryan's.
Right. And
you were next door, and you were selling. You were the head honcho for McQuarrie Horse Trailers. Miley. Sorry, there went that competitor. Didn't you have a McQuarrie in there?
I did. Later,
yeah.
I started with the Miley and then took on McQuarrie also.
And those were the trailers.
That was the two biggies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, nothing like a one-horse or a two-horse inline, right?
The Miley and McQuarrie is in the deal.
Oh, yeah, and have a Cadillac in front of you. I'm telling you, right? Wow.
That's true.
So you leaned more towards, as time went on, you really captured a big moment for you in having success showing cutting horses. Why'd you pick cutting horses?
Well, in the very beginning, I showed pleasure in reining horses, and the market wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I started training cutting horses, and everybody wanted to buy one. So it was just more than anything, the market kind of dictated the direction I took.
Yeah, so you were in it to win it and make money. Forget the rest of that.
Yeah, it's a livelihood. That's all the way we made a living.
Right. So fast forward 2019, you still have some great bloodlines. Some of my stuff, but you bred really. I mean, Did It in a Dooley was a famous stallion for Rick and I, and no longer living. However, short life, and you have really the only broodmare that I'm aware of left. And expecting
and she's a good one.
Oh yeah, she's gorgeous. I see a lot of that still, and really pretty baby. But you know,
picking up what she's saying about Did It in the Dooley, and he was. The world never did know really how good a horse he was. I don't think.
No.
As far as a breeder, he was.
Oh yeah, he just. I mean,
read this to me, and I've had people come to the place that said this is the ideal confirmation mare in their opinion.
Right.
Broodmare, and I'm thinking, yeah, well, okay, I like her.
I thought I was just being biased because I felt the same way too. And
yeah.
and Did It in a Dooley, he did have a short career. He was third in the futurity with Rick. I actually made the semifinals on a 3-year-old, which is impossible, and was sick with the flu and ready to go show in the semis, first time ever. and it has never happened since. And I thought I took daytime NyQuil, and I took nighttime NyQuil, and I don't even know how I got to the Coliseum from Weatherford. And when I rode down there and just watched all the cattle go past me, and then I started bawling. And of course, anyway, enough about me. This is your show. But yes, and then we sold him, and with still a great amount of success and a pretty good price tag on him.
Where did he go to?
He went to Utah, but he had a horseshoeing accident, and everybody wants to be fancy nowadays, so they had a very slick floor, and he just, lazy as the day was long, he would kind of,
Killed him right
well,
there.
he was scratched his neck, and he slipped. The horseshoer himself didn't move the shoeing stand, and he impaled himself. So it was horrible. But
I never knew where it was. I knew what it was, but it was up.
Yeah, up north, Utah. He was, we had 14 babies, and you've got one of the mares. We didn't even have a chance to do much. We do have the frozen semen. We just have moved that over to another breeding farm, so now we know that we can maybe do a few more did it in a Dooley's. And
Well, then that's something. That's
yeah,
good to know.
technology and all of that nowadays. You didn't have that back then, know,
No, of course not.
which I don't think was really a bad thing, because I always kind of think if you're always better off just to have one.
How many birds might be left?
Well, there were only 3, and you have 1. The
Only
rest were
3.
boys. Yeah,
My goodness.
yeah.
Well, I tell you what, nobody will ever know what a great mare she is. She is a nice mare.
But you're going to give her to me someday, right? And
Good luck. you gotta
you
find
better have
her.
the better half's over here. That's who I need to talk to.
That's
So,
the girl at the,
when you-
make sure she'll never leave, I imagine.
Yeah, so you've stayed very healthy. You've done really well. You and your wife have a landscaping business, a very successful one here in Parker County, and got a beautiful little ranch. So what's next for Dubdale?
Slow down a little bit, I hope.
There you go. Well, you've seen a lot of changes in the horse industry.
Oh, I have.
And is there any particular thing that stands out for you when you kind of look at how the cutting horses evolved in a different maybe movement or trainers?
This is too far to go back, but it's where it was. Zack was bouncing over there, and everybody's wanting a piece of him. I'm talking years ago, and I lived down the road from him, just a little ways where his office was. And he and I visited, and I told him, I said, Zack, the reiners and the ropers and all, it's wonderful, but it ain't got no money. If you want to make something, let's try to put this cutting horse thing on the map. And he spent some of his time getting paid to do all of it, but he began to put a little more time towards the cutting horses. And I give him credit for seeing the light, and really, I think, helped a long ways. And then, of course, once they found out that rich people with a necktie on can't rope a steer, but they can ride a cutting horse at a 4-horse stock show.
Wow.
And that brought it to their attention that, it had to be a trainer showmanship, it could be a trainer owner. And once the owners found out how much fun it was, I think, Shelly, that might have been the first big step towards making the cutting horse business feasible to be in, if
Wow.
you would.
Interesting, I've never heard it phrased like that, but I think you're right. Of course, when I first just started to get involved with cutting, and I tried everything before that, I was around Zack, and he was the guy.
He's the guy.
And sometimes maybe not all so popular. I always heard little stories about him. I think sometimes you have to be bad in a good way to get where you need to go. And I believe he really, I'm sure without having said this, I wish there were more Zacks out there, because we've, the whole industry, not just cutting, but all reining and
He
working
loved
cow
horses. He loved
Yep.
competition, and he could handle the beatings. They beat on him and beat on him, but he never changed. He just kept pushing and pushing it. He probably has as much influence as to where we are today. He could see.
He had a vision.
He could see a show with added money to Coliseum, and everybody else laughed like crazy. You can't get enough money to pay for the Coliseum. Oh well, yeah, we can. And he was a big influence.
Yeah, he'd probably roll over in his grave right about now because there's just been so many changes, and some for the better.
Well, I had to change, and some were better.
Yep.
Some were worse.
I like that you credited him. Anybody else out there? I mean, hell, I think you've outlived most of them.
Probably.
Going to continue. Might outlive me before it's over with too.
I doubt that. You're going to be here forever.
So let's talk about Alan Steen and his dad. I know that you and Ronnie, bless his heart, we lost him not too long ago, but he played a big role also in your life, and a good friend. You both liked a good horse, and so sometimes it's hard to not have that buddy over there, but you've still got a son, and I think Boots is a great guy.
He's a wonderful guy. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what else to tell you, Dub, but you're really one of a kind. Just a great friend, a great horseman, and I could not let this pass without allowing everybody else to know you a little bit, because everybody knows your name. I mean, that's for sure. And you've done just an awesome job, and I want you to keep raising those horses for me too, because I'm telling you, I believe he said I could have those horses, but I could be wrong. Just got to catch him at the right time, right?
Yeah, you better catch her at the right time. They're gonna be hard to get now.
So
no, they've done good for us, and of course we've just been a small breeder, but we've kept with a pretty nice bloodline coming through your place and around, and it worked good for everybody.
Like I said, I'm planning on getting these horses someday. I'm just kidding.
You know the old mare, what her name is at the house, it's Ida Red.
Ida Red.
Ida Red.
I like that.
Yeah.
I really, let's just before I let you go here, what was your best horse?
Oh my. Well, of course, I'd have to say, I guess simply because it was the first big winning horse I had, and
that helps.
I don't know if he was the best horse, but he for me probably was Warbon Leo.
Big name.
Yeah.
Big name. I'm probably, my generation will be the last to remember that horse, because the younger kids wouldn't have a clue.
He was a wonderful horse for me. Great horse. And then come right behind him, probably as good as War Chips.
Wow.
The two War Leo horses that I had. Then I guess they probably put me on the map as good as anybody.
Oh yeah.
Then behind them comes the Cutter Bills, and nobody wanted them but me, so I got to pick what I wanted. Right?
That's great. Wow. Well, will you come back and see us again sometime?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
All right. Yeah. I'm gonna hold you to it and bring your horses with you when you come.
Yeah.
So this is a moment with my dear friend, Dubdale.
All right. Thank you.